Okay, now let's look at this one last time in full speed. Now I'd like to show you a variation of the same Jujigatami from a different intro and also a slightly different angle. Okay, now I'm going to break it down to show exactly how this move works. Okay, now this time instead of squeezing my knees together right away, I'm going to shoot in with my right foot immediately. I'm going to come in here and hook the other side of the leg. Okay, let me shoot. So I'm hooking, stopping his knee. The purpose of that is so he can't take this leg and stick it out. Okay. This time this arm's going to come through. Last time this arm came through. This time this arm's going to come through, and I'm going to immediately apply pressure to the head and shoot to my hip this way. Okay. Now this pressure against his head is what makes this move work. Okay. Now a lot of times he's going to still be able to grab his belt or his gi in here, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll reach down, grab my wrist, and pull it to pick up all this slack. Okay? And lastly, you reach across, if I can, to the far leg and pull it directly toward my head. This way. Okay? Flipping him over into that same Jujigatami position here. This move is a surprise move. So it works as your opponent's either getting up or actually going down. But as soon as your leg comes in here, right, you have to be thinking also about this arm coming through. Okay, so it happens at the same time. Okay, arm comes through, right? Now what I'm going to be doing is changing my weight from my right hip to my left hip this way. And I'm just going to be forcing all my weight down to the mat. Boom. Right, to this position here. Okay? Once you get into this position, it's important not to rush things. Okay, you have control of your opponent. Main thing is you want to tighten up all the slack, right? Pull your own wrist, right? Sometimes it comes out. If it comes out, you can just take the armbar right here, right? But a lot of times he'll be able to hold his belt, pulling tight, okay? Right here, you want to kick out his head, right? Kick his head away from the shoulder. Again, creating that pain, okay? And again, my foot, okay, on the opposite side is very important also, right here. Because if he can get this leg out and extended, a lot of times he's going to escape. So you want to always keep this in tight here, okay? And again, go back to this position. Okay. Okay, from here, if I can reach the far leg, what I want to do is grab this close ankle, pull it to my head, right? Just keep pulling it until he spins over. Okay? You can even hold on to it until you can control your opponent. I like to put my legs together, okay, and squeeze my knees, because from this position here he can escape, right? Just as you turn him over. So you want to, for 1 second, hold here, and then come and get the arm. Let's do this one more time in full speed. This is another variation that sometimes you can catch in competition, although it's a little bit more complex. If you hit it with a lot of speed and at the right timing, you can get it. Now we're going to break this technique down. Basically, it's a one-shot deal. You know, you're doing kind of a forward head roll, And this leg comes in, just as in the previous Jujigatami. Comes in and goes, shoots straight through, okay? What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come down and I'm going to cup the back of his knee here. I'm going to reach in and try to grab the far lapel or just hook under the armpit here. Okay, try to grab here or just take whatever I can get right here. Hook the armpit. Okay. What I'm going to do is just do a forward head roll, tuck my head in here. Okay. Reach in. And use the power of my leg and the torque motion to twist the opponent over. Okay. From this position, I don't want to let go of this leg too quick because he's going to escape. Right. I want to hold on to this as long as possible until I can subdue him. Right. Get my control, squeeze my knees together, and then from here, I can just reach up, grab the wrist, and take the arm. Once again, we're going to go through this in slow motion. The difference between this and the ones before is a lot of times your opponent will be in this position here, okay? Instead of approaching him from the back position here, you want to kind of scoot to the side a little bit, okay? That relieves the tension, and that allows him to come up, okay? And as soon as he comes up, this leg's going to go hook through, and this one's going to come straight through again, okay? This one's going to cup around here. Okay, this leg, as it comes through, okay, this leg here, has to kick, right? This kicking motion, this muscle right here is what forces him over. Okay, the torque, and then the finish is here. Okay, he has to be very tight in here. Okay, and again, he'll end up in this position. Then you can cross your feet or come in here, take the wrist. At this point, I'd like to introduce you to a whole another series of moves that actually break this person's arm and allows you to get the arm bar. Okay, once you roll the person over, that's the first half. The second half is actually getting the arm and breaking the arm. This is a difficult position in judo, especially international competition. One guy up the arm, the other guy will be holding here, or maybe he's got his gi, and it's very difficult to break, especially against a very strong person, okay, who's got a strong upper body. Okay, so it's important to understand the basics first, and then we're going to go into the details of how you actually break the arm. The basics is, number one, is you do not want to create any space. Right? You have to eliminate all space on the top. And what I mean by that is, if I'm out here, okay, there's just a tiny bit of space in between here, and I go to armbar his arm, that's what's going to happen, okay? You might break it loose at the top, right? But as soon as you go and try to pull the arm, he's going to switch his hips, right, and pull his arm up. Okay, so it's very important. Number one is that you have this non-space right here, okay? And the way you do this is, say I roll him over and I feel like there's a little bit of space here. What I want to do is just hold on to him, right? And what I want to do is sit up and pop my hips underneath and eliminate that space. Okay? So you're here, right? I hold on to this arm. It could be in the bicep, anywhere I can. Hold on. Pull him in tight. Okay? Constantly keeping pressure down on the head. If you don't keep pressure down on the head, he's going to sit up into you this way. Okay? So this pressure on the head eliminates him from sitting up. Okay? The other thing that eliminates him from sitting up is if I switch arms and grab my own gi, he goes to sit up, then I just place my hand down. So this is a typical position right here where I might have to hold this for a few seconds, and then when I feel the time is right, then I can move up, maybe cross my legs over. Another thing is, what I like to do is I like to reach over, pull this arm. And the reason I pull this arm is because it creates this tight this right here. I squeeze my knees together. And you have to be able to control the person actually without holding onto the arm. Okay, so as Rio tries to escape, this has to be tight enough where you can almost control him escaping. Okay? So, again, the space, the pressure on the head, okay, and the elbow to the chest is the most important thing and the basics when you're in this position before you break the armbar. Okay? Either by grabbing your own gi here or changing arms and grabbing here. This elbow always has to be right in your chest, this way. Okay? With no space at all. Okay, now let's start with the most basic way to break this opponent's grip. Okay? Basic again, in the chest. Okay? And the main thing you want to do from here is always go toward the head, not try to pull back. So you want to pull this way, right? And then back around here. Okay? Now the pinky has to always be down. Thumb's always up. As soon as you allow him to turn his arm this way, he's going to escape. Okay? So pinky down, thumb up. Okay? What I like to do here is grab the wrist, and it's just like a handshake in here. So you have to control his wrist. Because once you're in this position, if you don't have control of the wrist, for sure he's going to escape. Okay? Again, control, elbow to the chest. Okay? All this one really does is you can grab your own lapel. Okay? It doesn't really matter where this hand goes for this move. Right? All you want to do is come this way. Right? Toward the head. Right? And back around. Okay? Now, what I like to do in this particular, okay, when I go toward the head, and this is what worked best for me in international competition, is I'll work against his wrist. Okay? If you try to come here to the elbow, he's too strong, right? It's hard to break. But the wrist is a weak part. So what I'll do is I'll try to move up, okay, work my forearm, or the knife bone right on your forearm, as close to the wrist as possible, okay? And then with this hand over here, which is probably going to be placed on the mat to stop him from coming up, okay? I'm going to come basically out of left field and almost throw a punch, okay? Here, catching my own wrist, right? And that particular explosion is what pops the wrist off, okay? Going toward the head, and then back around. One more time. You're here, okay? It's important. Everything has to be tight. Knees tight, elbow to the chest, okay? And you leave yourself a little bit of leeway here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to catch it, okay? My wrist is right in the elbow this way. It's almost like a figure four, right on his wrist, okay? But I can't just go like this. It's got to be like a right-handed punch, coming from left field here. And then, alright, the next move I'm going to do is basically, it's almost a wrist lock. And in Judo, it's a little controversial, it could be illegal, so don't say you learned it from me. But basically, what you want to do is, if his left hand is holding his right wrist in this position here, okay, he's leaving his wrist open. Okay, so what you want to do is maintain that knees together, elbow and chest, and start here. I usually start here and I start to pull here. Because what this does is it pops that wrist out. Sometimes it's in here, right? But if you pull on this, it pops it out. Okay, and from here what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and right at the fingers, curl it. And it's basically a wrist lock. Okay, and then take it, twist the wrist this way, and then apply the armbar. Okay, let's look at it again. He's in this position. Even if he's holding on to his gi, it doesn't really matter. Because you could come in here, see that pop out. As you pull his bicep, that pops it out. Right? You basically can just grab the wrist, which is legal, okay, like this. If he fights it, okay, if he's fighting against the wrist, then it turns, okay, now it's a wrist, and now you basically take it straight back. In this particular position, instead of the opponent having his right arm on the outside, he's going to have his right arm on the inside, here. So it really depends on how he reacts, which move you use. But in this particular one, what I like to do again, always base, knees in space, elbow to the chest, okay? And right here, he's kind of giving you, using the knife edge of your forearm against the bone of his forearm, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to figure 4. You're going to come into his wrist here, and basically just by starting out this way and then turning your wrist up to where the knife against his knife, and then just figure 4ing his arm. That creates a lot of pain, okay? And at that time, you're going to see him loosen up this grip, okay? As soon as you see him loosen up the grip, boom, then you take the arm. Okay? So, again, you're in tight, this arm is inside, okay? What you have to do is find this right spot where it creates the pain. And this might take a while. You might start here, right? Start working it and nothing happens. So you might have to kind of put your elbow up, right? This is on your leg, your elbow up, 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 until you find the right spot. Okay, you're here, elbow comes up, up, up. You find the spot, he lets go, lift up. Okay, now let's suppose that no matter what we do, we can't get this arm broken. Okay, we can't break the grip. And a lot of times that will happen in international or Olympic competition because it's not as easy as it looks. You're never going to just grab the guy's wrist and break it off. So basically what I like to do here is he's going to be tight. He's going to grab his own lapel or his own sleeve. Okay, I just have to work my hand underneath it. Okay, what I'm going to do at the right moment, okay, I'm going to be holding onto his bicep. I'm going to change the grip that I have, okay, and apply pressure against the inside of his leg. At the same time, I'm going to come over, grab his belt, and stretch it as tight as possible. So I key lock both his wrist and this wrist up. Both arms basically trapped together. Okay, and at this point, okay, he's going to try to come over the top, and that's when I have to keep applying pressure with my leg. Okay, wait for the right moment. Okay, and then what I do is I take this leg, pull it back, and lay the knee on the mat. Okay, I have to do this quickly because otherwise he's going to try to come up, but actually he can't because I still have this pressure down. Okay, plus I've got him tied up, and from here I use my hand to pick up my hip because you don't want to pick up your hips too much. Slightly, and come into a osaikomi, right, or a hold down pin. In this situation, as opposed to last time when I came over under with my right arm, okay, and grabbed the belt this way. This time I'm going to come underneath with my left here and maintain this posture, okay? Again, possibly posting my hand so as he moves around I can control him, okay? From here, what I'm going to do is just reach up, and it's very simple. Just take this hand and put it underneath this belt, right? Don't grab this way, but just grab underneath this way, okay? So it's very easy to get into this. But once I have him here, grabbing onto the belt, the pressure on the head, he's really not going to go anywhere, okay? Because you have full control of him. Now in Judo, they have osaikomi, or a pin. And what we do is we'll take one at a time. We'll reach down, post this knee on the mat, then I'm going to put my elbow right on the inside of his knee, which causes some pain. Then I'm going to do is reach up, grab this one, and put my elbow behind that. Okay. Now I've got full control of his legs. This leg here is going to curl, right? And what that does is creates pain in the hip. Right now his hip is being twisted. So this creates a lot of pain. And what you do is you just wait for the right moment for him to let go. And as soon as you see that